Okay, because you've made it this far into the project, I first and foremost want to say thank you. And I also want to reassure you that I know this looks complicated, but I promise you it's easy, easy, easy. And this will be the coolest thing you're ever going to print, and your friends are going to think you're awesome just for being able to do this. So, and this is the specific model that the Halo armor that is tied to this specific job. So if when you open the 3MF, this is what you're going to see. Now you'll notice that you like, for instance, this shin piece. There's only one of them, so you need two shins, obviously. So to solve that problem, Control C, Control V. Now I've got two of them, but they're the same. So we go right click, mirror across x-axis, and now we've got a left and a right. Okay? So now you need to print both of these, obviously, but that's why there's only one. Like this, you don't have to mirror, obviously, but the shins and the shoulder pieces and everything, if there's two of them, that's how you do that. Simple enough. Okay? So let's delete that. Now, obviously, these are all really small. They fit on like a Barbie doll, but they're scaled right now to 1/5. What are they scaled to? That's the first question. I scale everything to this body. I call it the ultimate male. He is a 5'10", like 200-pound ripped dude. You can see his body features. So everything's a little bit big at 100%, but that's what I mean. My body is very close to this, not to brag, but so this is how I scale stuff for my body. Now you need to scale it for your body. So what you need to do is you need to use cosplay calipers. There'll be a link in this listing to the cosplay calipers that I designed, that I use to do my own scaling to make my own armor. So the calipers will give you the body dimensions that you need to scale this to make it fit your body specifically. So let's talk about the example here. Let's throw another print bed. Let's use the helmet as the example, and I'll turn it a little bit so we can scale it, and you'll see it a little bit easier here. Okay, so like I said, right now everything is at 1/5 scale at 20%. I can show you that. So let's see here. See, 20%. So let's scale it up to what the creator, excuse me, don't do that. Uniform scaling. Scale it up to 100% and see what it looks like. Okay, so this would fit my head, but it might not fit yours. So how do we fix that problem? We use cosplay calipers, we measure distances, and we scale specifically. So let's say we're going to use this tool, the measuring tool. So let's say, for instance, you measured your ear to ear distance, here to here. Why isn't that working? Try it again. We'll go here to here, and it's 209 millimeters, okay? But let's say, for instance, yours is only 200. So what I do is you can go to a calculator or go to AI. I just use my phone and I'll say this. What percentage of 200 is, excuse me, what percentage of 209 is 200? 95.6%. Okay? So now all we have to do is go here and scale it to 95.6. Oops. Control Z. My 9 sticks. 95.6. Now, if we check this dimension again, return, it should be about 200. So let's look at it. Obviously, I'm not going to pick the exact same points, but let's see how close we got. 202. Okay, so we can see that's correct. Now we know that this is correct, but the width is equally important. So the trick here is you need to use non-uniform scaling, which you just saw me do. So accidentally. So let's measure it. So 132. Okay, but let's say that's too wide. Let's say you measure it at 220 or something. So now what you need to do is you need to go scale and turn off uniform scaling. And then we'll go back to AI. What percentage of 222 is 200? 90.09. So to change this red dimension, we'll just say it's 90.1. So now we'll change this to 90.1. Oop, my 9 got stuck again. There. Now you can see it just changed that dimension. I'll show you again here. So it's just changing. I'm just doing Control Z, Control V. It's just changing the one dimension, which is what you want. So now you've got this dimension and this dimension correct. And the height is usually okay, but you can check that also. But we've got another problem. You can see that this doesn't fit on the print bed, or at least on my P1S. So we have to slice it, which is also easy. So let's learn another tool. So we go here, we do cut. We can manipulate this and move it around. These tools are easy to use. I'm just going to rotate this into 90 degrees. You can add connectors. For me, this is too thin for connectors. I just use a plastic stapler. That plastic stapler, I'll post a link to what I use in the listing so you can see how I connect on my armor. But I'm not using connections here, so I'm just going to do the way it is. I'm going to keep it oriented, not place on cut, and we'll just perform cut. Now, the problem is you're creating new mesh surfaces, right, in that seam. So the system has to go in and create new, again, you can see like it would create a profile inside this little part here. So it's creating those profiles. You just need to be patient. Sometimes it makes mistakes. If it does, just go back in and try it again, or try a different cut, try a different angle. It's not a perfect system, but holy cow, is it amazingly fast comparatively to what I've been dealing with for the last 4 years. So there it is. Okay, so now we've got it cut in half. We'll click away. But again, it's still too big. You can see it doesn't fit that way on the back side. So we're going to cut it again. So we'll just cut, and this time we'll rotate this way. And we've got a decent cut there. I think the height was okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. This time we're going to place it on the cut so you can see what that does. It got done a lot faster that time. Okay, so now we've got this part, which we know fits. See, it fits inside the bed. We'll throw another bed on here and drag this over. Another fun little handy tool that you might try is this tool, which is automatically makes things flat, and you can see it change the orientation, but it still fits. Okay, so now we've got the two parts on the bed that we know fit our head and we know fit the bed. So there's your answer. So now, again, you go in and you do the same thing to this. You measure all these, scale them all up, slice them all up, and print them up. Again, this is not difficult to do. The assembly itself, I use a plastic welder. Like I said, there'll be a link for that in the listing. But simple stuff. I know you guys can do this. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks again for coming along with me. Good luck.